Hello, welcome to the Prime Podcast. This is our 8th episode. I'm here to talk about the week in consumer electronics technology news. I have a whole lot of various different topics to talk about today, including Windows 8 and how you can order it for only $15 right now. Google and possibly upgraded Galaxy Nexus Superior, or successor to the Galaxy Nexus in other words. T-Mobile's unlimited data plans that aren't throttled anymore. NVIDIA's GeForce GTX 660 Ti, which launched. And I'll wrap it up with the Microsoft Surface RT and how it could cost only $200. So let's go and get started by talking about Microsoft and Windows 8. 3 years ago, right before Windows 7 arrived in stores, Microsoft launched a promotion where if you recently purchased a Windows Vista computer, you get a free copy of Windows 7. That was a pretty good deal. I actually took advantage of it. I had a laptop that I recently got with Windows Vista on it, and actually ended up using the Windows 7 release, all the release preview, beta, all that kind of stuff on that laptop. And then eventually I upgraded to the full copy of Windows 7 for free because it was a Dell computer, and it was part of that Windows 7 upgrade promotion that ran a few years ago. Windows 8 is going to be a little bit different since Microsoft's wanting you to pay $15 for the same upgrade, which is a little bit more than $0, but it still is a similar deal where you get a very low, you pay for Windows 8 and it's a very low cost. Normally, Microsoft actually announced the full retail price of Windows 8, and I believe it's like around $200 for the Windows 8 Pro, which is surprisingly expensive. I was expecting to be cheaper than Windows 7. That's kind of what Microsoft is kind of just kind of showing, talking about basically. But I guess they decided to make it cost $20, just like Windows 7 Pro does, which for some people might think it's really too expensive, but other people might just realize that that's the same price as Windows 7 and just get over it. And of course, the OEM versions will probably be a little bit cheaper, but I'm more talking about the Windows 8 upgrade offer, which is what Microsoft's calling this $15 deal, where you can get Windows 8 for $15. The Windows 8 upgrade offer is basically a promotion that Microsoft is running from now until January 31st of the next year. And between now and then you can head on over to Microsoft's website. There's a link in the article page below for this article. And you get to enter a little bit of information like your phone number or email address when you purchase your PC manufacturer, your PC model. If Microsoft doesn't find any issues with the information you input, then they'll go ahead and invite you into the promotion. On October 26th, that's when Microsoft will send you an email, and that email will include information on purchasing the upgrade, and that upgrade is $15, so basically you pay that fee then. You might want to note that Microsoft only wants you to do this. You can only have upgrades for 5 computers like this, so if you have a lot of computers that you recently bought, all of them might not be able to take advantage of this deal. But once you purchase the upgrade, Microsoft will send you a download link, which is about 2 gigabytes. You download it, and you can use that file to install Windows 8 on your existing Windows 7 computer. And if you want a DVD, like some people might like physical DVDs, and you just put it in your computer, even if there's no operating system already, you can get one at an additional cost. Microsoft hasn't really announced a whole lot about that yet. This deal will be run in a total of 140 countries, and it'll support any Windows 7 system purchased after June 1st, that is. And again, each customer can register 5 computers. So what if you purchase your computer before June 2nd? Which might be something for a lot of people, but the bad news is that you won't get that same $15 price tag if you ordered your computer on June 1st or any time before that. Although the good news is that you'll still get Windows 8 at a discount. If you have any previous version of Windows, including older versions like XP, and you want Windows 8, you can go ahead and pay Microsoft just $40 for an upgrade. And that's just how it'll work. Microsoft hasn't announced any specifics as that promotion goes, but we should get more information very, very shortly. And I guess that does make sense since Microsoft is making Windows 8 very cheap, but they just are making it so it's cheap for upgrades, mainly if you have an XP system you want to upgrade, or if you have a recently purchased 7 system you want to upgrade. There's going to be a good discount there. But if you're building your own system, you're going to have to be paying a good amount of money for the license. But again, most people just buy a system in a store or online, like at a place like Dell.com or Amazon.com. They buy their computer there and get it at a good price, and they get Windows 7 included, or Windows 8 included with that. So what if you have a custom-built system? If you're like me, you have your own computer that you built out of parts you got from places like Newegg and Amazon, and it's obvious that you'd get a Windows 8 upgrade if you bought a computer from Dell or HP in the past few months. But what if you built your own system or the past few months and got a new copy of Windows 7 OEM license? Microsoft actually outlined the rules as far as that goes. And as long as you purchase a new OEM licensed Windows 7 after June 1st, you can take advantage of this $50 Windows 8 upgrade offer. So that's a pretty good deal there. So this deal works with people who built their own systems. I actually registered myself. I entered in my motherboard's model number for the PC model number and selected other for the manufacturer, unless it was like an ASUS board or something like that. Then I'd put ASUS and then name of the board. But I have an MSI board, and that wasn't listed there. So moving on to our first sponsor, and that's Media Temple. They've been a sponsor for a while now. And if you want some really good web hosting, you can check out Media Temple. There's a link in the description below where you can get a good deal on Media Temple. You follow the link and send it for a new hosting plan, like a grid service plan, which is only $20 a month. You'll get a $25 credit, which is a pretty good deal. That basically means if you get if you buy a month of Media Temple hosting using this link, you'll get another month free if you choose the grid service. You can also be able to have a little $5 extra, which you can use to get like a domain name, which is $4 at Media Temple. So just check that out. Media Temple has good hosting, good domain names. I have a link in the description below for more information on that. Moving on to Google and their Galaxy Nexus. I personally use the Galaxy Nexus on my phone. And I have to say, even though Google launched the Galaxy Nexus 8 months ago, it is still a really, really great phone. There are many more high-end phones like the One X and the Galaxy S3 that dominate the Galaxy Nexus in pretty much all benchmarks. But honestly, again, it just feels it's capable. The phone is as capable as it did when it first launched, especially now that the Nexus is running Jelly Bean, which really makes it really feel like a brand new, up-to-date phone. Like swiping between different in the app drawer, you can swipe between applications. There's pretty much no lag at all. You know, if you've used 2.2 Froyo Android, you'll probably be familiar with like the lag, that the stuttery effects and stutter transitions, and you don't have this at all with the Galaxy Nexus with Jelly Bean. There was some stuttering with Ice Cream, which it's pretty much all gone with Jelly Bean. So even though the Galaxy Nexus is a great phone, Google might be releasing an updated version, a slightly updated version of the Galaxy Nexus called the Galaxy Nexus Superior later this fall. Why would they do a Galaxy Nexus Superior? It's kind of simple to explain. Think of the Galaxy Nexus as an iPhone 4 and the Galaxy Nexus Superior as an iPhone 4S. Both phones have the same design and almost identical hardware / software. The internal hardware is only just slightly improved, and the software only has a few new features with upgrade from the 4 to the 4S, like Siri's new, slightly faster processor, but overall it's the same exact phone, it looks the same, feels the same, all that kind of stuff. The Galaxy Nexus Superior will be a very similar device to the Galaxy Nexus. It will keep the same 4.65-inch HD Super AMOLED display, 16 GB of storage, and the curved buttonless design, which I really, really like. Google will most likely only make a few slight improvements to the phone because they really did a good job last year with the Galaxy Nexus, and they don't really need to update it like crazy like they've done in the past. If you haven't noticed, the smartphone ecosystems have been slowly starting to slow down as far as updates go. Usually you've been seeing, like HTC, for example, a few years ago, they launched a new smartphone pretty much every month, and now they're kind of focusing on just a few smartphones each year, like the One S, the One V, the One X, and that's pretty much it. Of course, they have a slightly different variant for a different carrier, like Verizon has the Droid Incredible 4G LTE, but basically the same kind of phone. So the Android ecosystem has slowed down, and that basically means that this phone, the Galaxy Nexus, still is a great phone, and it's just there's no really need to update it like crazy. So now that we know that this phone will be kind of just a slight upgrade like the iPhone 4S was, let's take a look at what's going to be new with the Galaxy Nexus Superior. First off, it'll feature a new, faster 1.5 GHz dual-core processor, as well as an 8 megapixel camera on the back and a 1.9 megapixel camera on the front. The phone will also feature a micro SD card slot in order to make the phone more up-to-date. You can add more storage to it, but the processor will increase the benchmark scores and ensure the phone will run future applications. The cameras make the phone more comparable to the One X and Galaxy S3, which have great cameras. And the micro SD card slot makes room for more storage if you want more storage. Most of these features aren't necessarily something to upgrade if you have the Galaxy Nexus now. There aren't really a reason to basically ditch your contract and upgrade to the Superior. Some people might like to do that, but for personally, I'm fine with the Galaxy Nexus. It's a great phone. One complaint I have is the camera isn't very good on the back, but it gets the job done. It's not like I'm taking tons of pictures with my phone anyways, and for sharing on the internet, it's just fine. So, will there be other Nexus phones? I've written about Google potentially releasing multiple Nexus smartphones. The rumor was that Google was going to launch 5 Nexus smartphones this fall, sell them all through the Google Play Store, and they'd be kind of like they'd work with Motorola and make a nice Android phone with a QWERTY keyboard, and work with another company like Samsung and make a larger Galaxy Note-sized phone. Here are a few potential possibilities of these 5 phones. One could be have a QWERTY keyboard. One could have a large Galaxy Note-sized display. One could have a medium-sized 4.8-inch display. One could be a normal-sized 4.3-inch phone. Another could have a really high-end camera. Personally, I think that's what Google's trying to do right here. They're trying to make the phones appeal to as many customers as they can. Like, some might be a good texture, they want a keyboard. Some might want a huge Galaxy Note-sized screen. Others might want a really good photography camera. I think that's what Google's trying to do here. Of course, this is all rumor, but I really strongly think this is what's going to happen. But I might not be correct. Google could only release this Superior phone. They could do just release a very similar phone for all the manufacturers. They could just work with just a company like HTC and release just one HTC phone. We don't really know what Google's going to do, but I really do think that Google is trying to avoid carriers with their next Nexus phone. The Galaxy Nexus is a great example of why they're doing this. The unlocked GSM model of the Galaxy Nexus on the Play Store, it is basically what Google thinks of when they think of the Nexus devices. It runs the latest version of Android, and there are AOSP ROMs from Google every time there's a new version of Android. It's all immediate, it's all instant, and it's really just great as far as software updates go. But on the Galaxy Nexus on Sprint and Verizon, there's no AOSP, and you have to wait for the carriers to update the phones. Google can release the update to the carrier has to test it or just ignore it for months and months and months, and then release it to customers. And that's against what Google defines a Nexus device as. So I'm expecting Google to release their phones at a reasonable price unlocked on the Play Store. So they could even potentially really lower the price of the Galaxy Nexus and Superior to make more people look at these phones over going with the carrier. So maybe a $100 Galaxy Nexus and a $200 Galaxy Nexus Superior. Those would be really cheap pricing, but it would really pay off in the long run for Google, because if they can kind of ditch carriers, they can get more happy customers with updates. They can sell more apps, that kind of stuff. And if they were to release new Nexus phones, they'd most likely sell for around $350 like the current Galaxy Nexus does. Over the past couple of years, the top 2 carriers in the United States, Verizon and AT&T, have been really getting rid of their unlimited data plans. They've been replacing them with tier data plans where you can get a set data limit per month, and that could be like 4 gigabytes. And if you go over 4 gigabytes, you have to pay overages, which is kind of the norm now with smartphones. If you're getting a new smartphone, you'll have to kind of obey the data limit unless you want to pay extra. Sprint is currently the only carrier in the United States to offer truly unlimited data plan where you can pay a certain amount per month and get unlimited data. That's not throttled or anything like that. T-Mobile offers unlimited data, but they'll throttle you, or basically, in other words, slow your data speeds. Like you normally get 1 megabit per second down, they might lower that to half megabit per second down. Things like that, they'll lower your data speed, make your network slower. After you get a certain amount if you use like 4 gigabytes of data, they'll lower your data speed. To better compete with Sprint, T-Mobile is actually announcing their new unthrottled unlimited data plans. If you're already a T-Mobile customer, you can, and you're on the current Classic Unlimited Plus or Classic Unlimited Premium plans, you can easily pay an added $20 fee to get unthrottled unlimited data. That $20 add-on is $20 if you purchase a phone on a contract, but if you for a phone off contract, that price goes up to $30. And also note that this truly unlimited data plan doesn't include hotspots, so if you want to tether your phone to your computer, you have to stick with the data throttling. T-Mobile plans make these unlimited data plans available on September 5th, and on that date you can pay T-Mobile a total of $90 per month, and that'll get you unlimited and unthrottled data, texting, and voice calls, which is a pretty good deal. And it's actually the cheapest across the United States as far as these top 4 carriers go. So, starting on September 5th, Sprint and T-Mobile will be the only carriers in the United States that offer unlimited data. So it makes sense that these two carriers should be compared, and that's what I'm doing here. While T-Mobile charges $90 per month for unlimited everything, Sprint charges $110 per month, which is $20 more than T-Mobile. If you're a family, you might want to know that T-Mobile also charges less per additional line that you add to your family plan, combined with a lot of the random other charges that Sprint does every month, like premium data. T-Mobile is really a much cheaper carrier. However, there are still some reasons to go with Sprint. For example, they have a LTE network. It's small, but it is expanding, and that's a lot faster than 3G. Sprint and T-Mobile together, they really do have different coverage maps. In many cities or rural areas, Sprint might be the better carrier, and others might be T-Mobile. In my area, Sprint has more coverage, and that's probably because Sprint supports roaming on Verizon's 3G network, which is the biggest in the United States. So you have to kind of look at these carriers and see which one's best for you. It kind of depends. And a few extra dollars per month for Sprint or a few less dollars per month for T-Mobile isn't the hugest deal for most people, at least. So the big question is unlimited data really what's needed? Carriers like T-Mobile and Sprint say yes, people need unlimited data. Well, Verizon advertised that they have a fast 4G LTE network and you don't really need unlimited data. So is Verizon's 4 GB plan enough for your monthly data needs? Personally, 4 GB is plenty. I use Wi-Fi whenever I can, and I usually stick to my computer for more data-intensive tasks. Even with the incredibly fast speeds of Verizon's 4G LTE network, I don't really need a whole lot of data each month. And I'd actually be fine with 1 GB of data each month, and I think most people will be fine with 1 GB of data. So I suggest actually just installing an application on your phone that monitors your data usage, and just looking at that and deciding if you really do need unlimited data or how much data you need if you don't. Moving on to NVIDIA and their brand new graphics card that is a really, really impressive card. Has a really great price to performance ratio. So over the past year, NVIDIA has launched their new 600 series graphics card, starting with the high-end $1,000 GTX 690. Then they moved down to the $500 GTX 680, and more recently, the even cheaper GTX 670 for $400. So NVIDIA has really essentially completed their high-end graphics card lineup: the 690, the 680, and the 670. All three cards are great, but not everyone wants to pay $400 and up on a graphics card, including me. I don't really need that much in a graphics card. To cater to the more mainstream consumers or more just average gamer or above average gamer, kind of mid-range gamer that wants to play all the latest games at 1080p and maybe a little bit more pixels than that, maybe even. NVIDIA really is making you happy with this new graphics card. It's called the GeForce GTX 660 Ti. So just like the rest of the GeForce 600 series of graphics cards, the 660 Ti has some pretty impressive specifications. It managed to pack plenty of stream processors into a graphics card that runs at a nice high clock speeds, has plenty of video memory. It only requires 150 watts power, meaning you'll be able to run it on pretty much any gaming computer. Overall, this $300 you're paying for this graphics card, you're getting a pretty good deal. I don't know what all these specs mean on this list. I have them on the website, and there's a link to go to that. But I'll just read through a few that I know about. 13443 stream processors, 112 texture units, 24 ROPs, a 915 MHz core clock, 980 MHz boost clock, 6.08 GHz of GDDR5 memory, 192-bit memory bus, 2 gigs of VRAM, and 150 watt TDP. To add to that, it has 2.5 billion transistors and uses a 28nm manufacturing process. When it comes to benchmarks, it's actually pretty impressive. The 660 Ti beats older last generation cards like the flagship GTX 680, or 580 rather, which is pretty impressive. It can run most games, like Dirt 3 runs well over 60 frames per second, even at high resolutions like 2560 by 1600. Demanding games like Battlefield 3 run smoothly at 53 frames per second at that same resolution. Skyrim also runs at around 50 or 60 rather frames per second, same resolution. So the latest games should run just fine on this card, even at some high resolutions, which is pretty impressive. This graphics card is now available at many places, including Amazon, which is our next sponsor. They are selling the 660 Ti now for $300. I have a link in the description below to the standard reference model, which is $299.99. It's the standard model. It's EVGA. It uses the same stock cooler and everything like that. Of course, there are more expensive models around $350 from companies like MSI, PNY, EVGA, and Asus and Gigabyte that are overclocked, have better coolers, that kind of stuff. But again, this card right here, the one I have a link in the description below, is a good card. It's a standard card. It gets the job done. And of course, you can overclock it still, even though it doesn't have the best cooler. Weeks ago, Microsoft announced they plan to launch the Surface RT tablet on October 26th. That also happens to be the release date of the Windows 8 operating system. Even though we know the release date and the pricing, we know the release date and what it's going to be all about, we don't know the pricing of this tablet. Some have said that it will cost around $500 to match the iPad. Others have said it could be a little bit cheaper at $400. But more recently, we've been hearing that this tablet is going to cost $200. According to Engadget's anonymous source, Microsoft is currently planning to launch the Surface RT on October 26th for just $200. Adding to Engadget's source's credibility is the fact that many other companies like Acer have said many bad things about the Surface and how it could hurt Windows tablets. And that's because companies like Microsoft, they can take a loss and sell the Surface RT for $200. While a company like Acer can't really do that very easily, at least. So that makes people wonder, will a $200 Surface RT hurt other Windows tablets? And it could potentially slow the sale of more expensive Windows RT tablets. But really, I personally think that Windows RT tablets will sell just fine. Look at something like the Google Nexus device that Google has. Google doesn't sell those things like crazy. They're not very popular, even though they're great phones. They just show companies like Samsung, HTC, and Motorola what they should do in order to make better devices. In other words, people will pay the extra $500 in total for the Galaxy Note 10.1 over the cheaper $200 Nexus 7. It has added features. The Galaxy Note has added features like the stylus, all the Samsung software, and people just choose that over the Nexus 7. They want the extra features. So Acer could sell a tablet that costs a little bit more than $200 that has an added feature that people will buy it for. So now, why would Microsoft sell a Surface RT for $200? I think that Microsoft has really similar strategy to Google. Google recently launched the Nexus 7 at $200 and does everything the more expensive tablet does, but at a lower cost. Google wants the Nexus 7 to show other OEMs and even app developers that Android is a great platform for smartphones and tablets. The success of the Nexus 7 will push Android as a platform further, and even though Google isn't making a ton of money off of it, It is just a good tablet. That's kind of a spark for Android tablets in general. It shows, like for example, the Nexus Galaxy Nexus was the first Jelly Bean phone, and it featured basically this new on-screen buttons basically. And if you look at current phones on the market, they don't have the on-screen buttons, but HTC, for example, they moved away from the 4-button layout to the 3-button layout, just like the Galaxy Nexus. Even though it's not on-screen, it kind of copies that same idea, and Google wants that to happen. They want to show other companies what they should do, like NFT's been added to some of the phones just because of that. And I think that's what Microsoft's trying to do. They're trying to promote other companies making Windows 8 devices. So that's about it for this podcast. You can come back tomorrow for a gaming video. We're doing Minecraft right now. We're building a house in every biome. And we'll continue that series for the next few weeks every Sunday. And on Saturdays, we always do these podcasts where we cover the week in consumer electronics and technology news. You can subscribe for both of these topics. We also do reviews and unboxing videos on this channel. And you can check out our blog, theprime.co, for daily news coverage. And that's about it.